Just when I think things can't get weirder, this woman outdoes herself. Oh my gosh. I want to rescue Julia. I need you to blink 3 times if you need help. These are the weirdest people I've ever seen on TV. Hey guys, welcome back to Real Housewives Recaps. Today I am super excited to be talking about 90 Day Fiancé. This is episode 5, season 8, Who's the Boss? You guys, so much going on. I want to spend about 4 hours talking about the insanity going on over at Brandon's family. My God, that mom. Every time I think she can't outdo herself, she does. We'll get into all that. We'll get into what's going on with Mike and Natalie. Oh, and Stephanie. I need more of Stephanie on my screen. So we'll talk about it all. Let's get into it. Just a quick housekeeping note. Next week, I have a lot of stuff going on, so I won't be able to hit 90 Day Fiancé or my regular shows. I will still have stuff going up. I already scheduled it. I got Real Housewives of Miami. I got Ladies of London. I'm trying to get some Bridgerton up, so stick with me, but I will be back with brand new content week after next. But I'm still here all this week, so don't worry. We'll be talking about it all. Hey guys, I just want to take a second and say if you're enjoying this show, please check out my Patreon. Go to patreon.com, search Real Housewives Recaps, or check the comments below and I'll put a link. And for $1 a week, you can support my show and get 4 bonus episodes per month. I'm covering Scary Island, like the greatest season of Real Housewives of New York. So check it out. Thanks so much. Okay, so let's talk about Brandon and Julia. I am fascinated with this whole family and this crazy ass storyline. So I know Julia's a pill and she's a handful, but my God, she just got here. And it's her first day alone on the farm. And Brandon has to leave at 4:30 a.m., right? And apparently his parents have day jobs. So they just expect that Julia will get up and handle everything. Her first day. They do have that Aspen, the family friend, who will help Julia get acquainted. I liked Aspen last episode. I did not care for Aspen this episode. Aspen was feisty. So apparently Julia snuck into Brandon's room for alone time last night. Ooh la la. 7 hours later, she gets up after he leaves. He had already gone to work. She's all by herself. She's saying how lonely it is. She wants to talk to Brandon, but he's working all day. So she's expected to go work on the farm. She doesn't know how to do this. She's never been on a farm. And she's trying to remember everything they told her the day before. It's a wild storyline. These people are basically looking for labor, not a daughter-in-law. And then they don't understand her reaction to everything. It's so crazy. So again, Aspen was okay last week. She seemed like she was willing to help, but then she kept saying critical stuff like, well, they're used to eating at 7. Looks like you got a late start. You're slacking this morning, and it's too late for the animal. It's just crazy. This poor girl got here yesterday. My God, she's probably still jet lagged. Then we go over to Stephanie. I'm going to need more of her on my screen because every time we see her, we learn some new insane detail about her life. So let me refresh you. Remember, she's 52. She lives in Michigan. Her fiancé, Ryan, is like 20-something, and he lives in Belize. She says that they're engaged, but she hasn't had the formal proposal, so she's supposed to bring her parents' ring down with her when it's safe to travel to Belize again. So her cousins are there. She owns 2 weight loss / what is it? It's like Botox spas, basically. Skin rejuvenation spas. So they're there for some treatment, and they're talking to her saying, bitch, you're crazy. And even her coworker Pam is like, yeah, I've known her for 14 years. She's never been one to talk about marriage, so this is a shock. So then we find out Stephanie has been helping Ryan for a few years. And more recently, she's been helping his entire family through COVID. So monthly, she sends anywhere from $500 to $1,300. She pays for rent and for food. And that's not even the craziest part. The crazy part is we find out she's got a friend that owns a hotel down there. She calls up her friends like, hey, let my man work for you, and don't worry, I'll pay his wages. I mean, what? And he doesn't know. The friends are like, well, does he know that you're paying his wages? No. She said she wants to build up his self-esteem. Is this not the creepiest thing you've ever heard? All I can hear when I hear that is like a mother-son relationship, not a fiancé. To remind you that last time she dropped the bomb, that she and her fiancé got into a fight and he left her resort, so she called up his cousin. Yeah, they ended up having sex, and he doesn't know that either. She's got a lot to talk about with this fiancé. I'm sure it's going to go really well. Then back over to this serial killer. This is Jovi. Jovi. I got some comments last week that said, he is trying to provide a nice life for her, and I get what you're saying. I do. I think so too. But he's a terrible person, no? I mean, we saw it this episode. He is a terrible person. I'm going to go ahead and say, like we find out later, he left her when she was going through a miscarriage and having to have surgery, and they were traveling around Europe. So she was in a foreign country without her passport by herself, and he just left her there, and he didn't understand what the big deal was. He's a serial killer and a nightmare, and he really creeps me out, and I talk about it every episode. I can't help it. If I go missing, it's Jovi's fault. I'm scared. Yara's no picnic either, believe me. She seems high maintenance as hell, but my God, he's awful. Okay, moving on. So then we're at Mike and Natalie. These two kids are going to make it. I'm furiously shaking my head now, if you could see me. So they live in Washington. They have 87 days that they have until they have to wed. Yeah, what are we doing here? They clearly don't like each other. I alternate which one I feel bad for, and I ultimately decide this episode I don't feel bad for either of them. They are a terrible couple. It's not, I know we've seen spoilers. Basically, the show spoiled itself and showed her furiously trying to leave, like, the day before the wedding, or he threw her out or something, but my gosh, these two, they don't have anything in common. They don't communicate. They won't even talk about, oh yeah, we're supposed to get married in, like, weeks, and she's trying to get acclimated. He's not seeming to want to help her too much on that. He's trying to be, I don't know. He says he's trying to be patient and understanding, and she's not so much into that. So they do not work well together. It was funny for me to watch at the beginning, but now it's just kind of bumming me out. I don't know. Like, when they went to the waterfall together, I really thought, okay, I see it. They're dancing around, they're being cute. But that was like 2 minutes. And the rest was awful. She can't stand his cat. He loves the cat. She's vegetarian. He eats, like, these dinosaur-sized steaks in front of her. She's super religious. He's not. The list goes on and on. They just aren't meant for each other. Then we have Tariq and Hazel. They have 89 days to wed. She's from the Philippines, and they've been together 2.5 years. She just arrived the night before. So she usually has rice for breakfast. That's just part of her tradition, part of something she does. He's super excited to take her out to shore an American breakfast. Again, I'm shaking my head. Oh, this is not going to go well. So she's saying she feels overwhelmed to be there. I will say Tariq seems really sweet. He seems to be trying to make her feel good. He understands that, she's had to leave a child behind. I like Tariq. I hope that, I just don't have a good feeling because there's so much to their relationship. She is not allowed to, apparently in Philippines, it's not allowed to be a lesbian. And I don't know if she identifies as lesbian. I think she identifies as bi. She talks about it. She wants a girlfriend, but she also wants to be with him. So a lot to work out there, but they'll get into that. Okay, so we go over to Rebecca. What is this look? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to focus on looks, but what is that testimonial or whatever to camera look? It's awful. That hair glued down looks, I just can't. Oh, just so bad. Okay, so she's decided it's not a good idea for them to move in with her daughter Tiffany and her fiance Micah. Glad that a 50-year-old decided it's not a good idea to do that. So her last apartment was smaller. So P.S. I love this apartment. I'm shocked. It's actually a beautiful apartment. I like that big wide open space with the big windows. It's kind of I was kind of shocked when I saw it, truthfully. She said this is going to cost a lot more, but it'll make them happy because they get to alone time. Well, again, Rebecca always has some secret she's hiding. What's her secret? Apparently she lived in this building before with her ex-husband. Zied's going to be pissed when he finds out. So back to Brandon and Julia. He gets home after working these crazy hours. He goes straight into his room, doesn't acknowledge her. She's like, oh, he already forgot me. That sucks. So she walks in and she talks to him and he wants to know how her day was. And she's like, it was awful. I hate taking care of these animals. I'm not doing this. And true Brandon fashion, as usual, he's like, oh, don't worry, it'll work out. Don't worry. He just doesn't like to do anything confrontational. So he's just like, it'll work out. No, Brandon, it won't. You need to have a conversation. Okay, so they're going to go out to dinner to meet his grandpa and go out with his parents, of course. That is the most insane dinner we will get into. I'm still shaking my head over this. It kind of left me baffled. This was my face the whole time when I was watching that dinner. It was so weird. Oh, gosh. Okay, so back to Mike and Natalie. So Mike works in Seattle. He has to commute. So that means he wakes up at 3 a.m. and drives in, and then he stays at work until 3 p.m. and drives back. My God. He can't afford to live in Seattle, and she really wants to move there. She's feeling isolated, so she's doing all this housework. She's looking forward to seeing, there's this waterfall she really wants to see. And she's nervous because they really haven't had time together to discuss their issues. I will say he does nice things for her. He put her there. They stayed in a nice hotel when she landed in Seattle the first weekend, and now he's taking her to this hotel near the waterfall she really wants to go to. So they have dinner, and she orders scallops, and he orders this giant tomahawk steak. And again, they're talking about their different views. She's vegetarian. She doesn't drink. She's religious. All the things he is not. So they have this conversation, and she asks him, listen, will you give up meat for 1 week and try just veggie life? And she said 1 week on veggies, 1 week you can have meat again. Just kind of go back and forth, just to cut down. And he seems hesitant at first, but he agrees. She says she'll cook him fish at home, and he says he can try it out. She says, if you'll compromise, then that shows me that you really respect me. He says he'll try it for a week starting tomorrow. This becomes a point of contention later, but he says he will start tomorrow. And then to camera, he says, no one can tell me what I can and can't eat. What? Okay, that's true, but you literally just told her you'd try it, so weird. Tariq and Hazel, he's like pushing her to hurry up and check out venues. She seems overwhelmed. I mean, she just got there yesterday. She's overwhelmed. She really wants to get married in church. He's got this weird center that he likes. It's a cultural center, but he finds it a place of spirituality for him. It would have been nice except for this weird couch that this guy, used to do psychic readings on. I don't know. I need to Google this guy and see what's going on. It looks very murdery to me. So they have this meditation area. He's really into it, but she's saying it's weird. She just doesn't want to get married there. She really wants to get married in church. And she says she really needs him to listen to her. He just doesn't seem to want to do that. So, yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. Back to Brandon and Julia. Brandon looks beat down, and she's had a terrible first day on the farm. And he wants her in a good mood to go meet his granddad for the first time. So we go to dinner, and Grandpa, scary Grandpa, he is worried that she's using Brandon. And I'm thinking, for what? He doesn't have anything. What's she using him for? And if anything, his parents are using her. The parents ask about the day on the farm, and she's explaining it took an hour to feed the pig. She was so scared. And Mom's like, well, did the pig eat? Oh, my God. Back off, Mom. Like, she's doing labor for you. She's trying. It's something. Well, when she's talking, the mom notices and says, Julia, your neck. Oh, my gosh. Brandon bit her. Ew. So Mom is saying, how'd that happen? You haven't been sleeping in the same room, have you? And then in a talking head, the parents are like, grow up, Brandon. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he is a child. This is so weird. He's 27, he's biting her. But he's also a child because they're saying, have you guys been sneaking in rooms together? So Grandpa asks about the wedding, and they say they've picked a date. The parents seem surprised, and they say they've picked May 9th. Here's the most batshit crazy thing I've seen in a very long time. And I say that on a 90-Day Fiancé show where everything is batshit crazy. They don't like that date because Mom says that's the weekend of Mother's Day. What? She doesn't want to share the day. I put in my notes, this is ridiculous. So they want that day because the first time he said to her, like, you look like you're my future wife, whatever, was on the 9th. So that day means something to them. Mom didn't even say it was Mother's Day, says it's Mother's Day weekend. So she doesn't want to give up that weekend. Oh my God. Seriously? I mean, this bitch is crazy. It's just too much. Who cares? Like, he's getting married. This is just crazy. Dad is trying to say, oh, pick other days. And Julia's like, what? And finally, Brandon does stand up a little bit. He says, I don't care. If Julia wants the 9th, we'll do the 9th. And Mom is so pissed. It was really weird to watch. Okay, so back over to Zied. Now, remember, Zied just got approval. He is headed to America to be with Rebecca. So he's getting ready to go to the airport. His family's taking him. They're telling him goodbye. All his friends have arrived to say goodbye. His sister's really having a hard time with it. She doesn't agree with the relationship. And he's saying he's nervous. It's kind of hard to watch. I mean, he's always lived at home and he's leaving, but he seems truly excited to be with Rebecca. So back to Mike and Natalie. So they go to this waterfall, and this waterfall is gorgeous. She's saying, thank you, I'm so happy. And it was actually nice to see this side of them. They seemed happy together for about 5 minutes. Like, they seemed to have fun looking at this waterfall. And it was cute because they were hugging and taking pictures. They even did like this dance. They were having so much fun. And I think he was genuinely happy that she was genuinely happy. She said she's dreamed about this. So it was a really sweet moment. And you actually could see them enjoying each other as a couple, which is just like the first and last time I think we'll see that. Okay, so they go out to dinner. And she's pissed because she says he took her to a beer bar. Sounds like they just went to a bar and had some dinner. She's not a drinker, so she just doesn't like this at all. She comments on, because he ordered a beer, and she says, wine yesterday and beer today. And she orders vegetarian option. Well, he goes to order. He orders this big old beef brisket nachos. So her whole thing is, what about our challenge? It starts today. And he says, nope, it starts next week. And she's like, well, you said from today. And he says, nope, too late now. So it's fine. I mean, this isn't breakfast, so they probably already knew this. He probably had me with breakfast, whatever. But I'm just saying, he did, in fairness, say it was today, and now he's changed his mind. He should be allowed to eat what he wants. But he told her one thing, and he changes his mind and gets huffy with her about it. And I understand why she's frustrated with his communication. That's all I'll say. Believe me, I'm not Team Natalie, but I understand why that would be frustrating. So they have dinner, right? And at the end, they decide... Oh, wait, before that. Okay, we're not there yet. Sorry. So they're sitting in silence. He says, what's on your mind? She says they should talk about the wedding and choose a date. And they need, if they're going to try to make it work. He sighs, he shakes his head and says, I can't say for sure yes or no. She says to camera, we're both on shaky ground, but she doesn't want to spend the next few days unsure. And she wants her mom to be there, and he assures her she will be. Okay, so this is the part I was thinking of. So they decide to order a root beer float. She's never had one before. She's never even heard of it. And she tries it. She really likes it, but then it starts hitting her. She's like, wait, there's beer in the title. Is it alcohol? And she doesn't understand that root beer isn't alcohol. I don't blame her for that. She's not from here. She doesn't know. You hear the word beer, it is confusing. He's like kind of smirky about it, like, no, there's no alcohol. There's no alcohol. She doesn't believe him. She looks at the menu. She doesn't trust him. And he basically says he doesn't want to be with her because she doesn't trust him. So that right there lies some of the communication problems that they have. It just showed it clearly. Okay, so back to Yara and Jovi. 79 days to wed. Jovi leaves tomorrow. He'll be gone for 4 weeks. So remember, his job is 4 weeks on, 4 weeks off. And when he gets back, they'll only have 45 days to get married. So he says that his mom's going to call her in the next few days and possibly try to meet up. And I thought that was nice. I mean, she seems pushy, but that's sweet because this poor girl's going to be by herself for a month. I keep thinking about that. She's there for a month. She doesn't have a car. I guess she can call like Uber or whatever to go out. But my God, like she just got there. That would be really tough. So he wants her to be comfortable there and talks about wanting to start a family. This opens up a whole can of worms. So you remember they were expecting before and unfortunately they lost the baby. This is when we find out about what really happened, that it happened while they were traveling together. She had to go in for an operation and Jovi left her to fly back to go to work. And it's just so cringe and wild. Like, she didn't have her passport. She had lost her passport. She was in a foreign country dealing with the loss of a baby and then finding out she has to go in for surgery. I mean, just one thing after another. And Jovi, he just left her there. So she's crying and she's saying, how do I ever trust you again? You leave me alone when I go into an operation. And she says, this is stupid. I can't trust you after that. I can't have your baby after this. And he says, sorry, what do you want me to tell you? He just has these shitty remarks, these shitty comebacks that really bug me. She's telling him how bad it hurt her, and he's surprised. He's like, well, I hadn't heard about this for a year and a half. I didn't know it bothered you so bad. I mean, hello, numbnuts. What do you think? Do you think she's, like, happy about that? Oh, my gosh. Ugh. He's such a serial killer. Okay, so she says, you don't show me that I can trust you. And he says he didn't know she was so resentful. And he says it bothers him that she's so resentful. My God. He is totally clueless. Okay, so then we see a flash to next time. We see that Natalie has not unpacked yet. So again, things are not going so great for these two. Tariq brings home Ari. So Hazel's meeting Ari for the first time. Jovi's friend calls up Yara. They end up going to get pedicures, and she finds out that Jovi's more of a party animal, I guess, than he let on. He parties with strippers and stuff, and she is not happy at all about that. Amira's fiance is FaceTiming her dad because, remember, she's stuck somewhere in Mexico, and he can't find her because of COVID and the borders and all that. Zied arrives, and then we see Stephanie calling Ryan, and he's not picking up, so she throws her phone and says no more, which I highly doubt. It sounds like she'll put up with a lot from him. Yeah, so that is it for the episode, you guys. Such a good episode, such a good show. I'm loving watching it and talking about it. Let me know in the comments below. Are you on the same page with me? Did you get the same insanity vibes from what's his name's mom and from Jovi? I just really want to know your thoughts. So leave me comments down below. Let me know what you're thinking. Again, I won't be here next week, but I will have shows up like Miami, Ladies of London, different stuff like that. So check that out. But I will be back the following week to pick right back up. So thanks so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Stay healthy. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.